Hello everyone, Sandi here. Today we are looking at a couple of new decks in my collection that I've had now for maybe a month. I haven't had a chance to make a video about them before because, you know, life and other circumstances getting in my way of filming. But today I wanted to show you two bird decks that I recently discovered and that I was really afraid were going to be out of print, which they kind of are because I do believe they have been mass market before. But I reached out to the creators of the deck and managed to get my hands on one copy of each deck. So this is what the decks I'm talking about are. They don't come in a, the first one doesn't come in a box, it only comes in this blue pouch, and it is the Bird Cards deck by Jane Toerien and Joyce van Dobben. So Jane here lives in South Africa and Joyce lives in Holland or the Netherlands. And the funny thing is that I wanted to get both of them so that I could combine them. But it turns out that Jane here sells only this one, the Bird Cards, and Joyce sells the second one, which is called Ascension to Paradise, which I had to buy from Joyce. So I ordered this one from South Africa and this one from the Netherlands. So yes, as you can see, this book is a lot bigger, and this one actually does come in a box, but the box is quite big to, you know, accommodate for the book, so I've put the cards in a separate little bag here. That came with another deck that I cannot remember which one it was now, but anyway, it's got a raven on it, so I thought that was quite suitable. We're going to be flipping through both decks, but first I wanted to, or actually should I flip through first and then talk about these things? Well, let's just quickly go through it first. So the two decks both have, I believe it's 55 cards, and the numbering on the cards continue from one from the other. So the first deck goes from 1 to 55. These are the backs. And the second deck goes from 55 to 121. So I believe this one has a little bit more than the first one. Right. My initial thought was to combine these two decks into one large deck. However, when I got them in hand, I realized that I don't think I will be doing that for several reasons. Because this deck here has a very matte finish. The cardstock is very bendy, and I am able to riffle shuffle this one. This cardstock is also bendy, but not as flexible. It's got a shiny or shinier cardstock, and it's like this one has a sort of coating on it that gives it kind of a very specific feel, and this one does not. You can hear the difference as well when I stroke them. So it's like, yeah, they behave very differently, and on top of that, they have different corner sizes. If you can see that. So this one has a more narrow corner and this one has a more wide corner. This can easily be fixed by re-cornering this one to the same size as this, I suppose. But it also is, I mean, they do have the same-ish size. It's just the corners that are different. So I could corner around this one and then try and combine them, but because of the coating on this, I am a little bit concerned about using my corner rounder on this one, just in case the coating will start acting up. I've had that happen with a few decks that I've modified before with a similar coating, so I'm not sure. And also the two decks seem to be geared towards slightly different things, which means that I might want to work with this one at certain times and this one at other times. So as of yet, I have not combined them, because that would also make them make a really chunky deck, which might be difficult to handle. And like I said, I can riffle shuffle this one but not overhand it, and I can overhand this one but not riffle shuffle it. So the differences in how the decks themselves actually behave also kind of makes it impossible to combine them, because I have no idea how I would actually shuffle the combined deck, if that makes any sense. Because I would not be able to riffle shuffle it, excuse my squeaky chair, as per usual. But yeah, I would not be able to riffle shuffle it anyway, because of the big chunkiness of the combined deck. But what I'm thinking of is, if this one is so difficult to riffle shuffle, to overhand, if that would, affect the ability to overhand shuffle it when they're combined. That's a lot of preamble, I'm sorry, but we will start with the first deck for the walkthrough. And so this is the bird cards, and I'm going to do something very unlike me and just introduce you a little bit to the guidebooks, because this one comes with two different ones. So this one has the the bird cards book has the regular meanings, and then the second book has meditations and spreads, and this is really exciting. So each card corresponds to a specific spread and a little bit of a meditation and contemplations around the bird and what it represents. So I've been using this specific blue deck for pulling a bird energy and then doing a tarot reading based on the spread that the bird brings you, which I think it's just so incredibly cool. And I've had some really deep and meaningful readings with this deck. I have not actually used the Ascension to Paradise yet, because I've been so enamored by this one. So let me just quickly read a little bit from the start here. All right, so the first little thing here that we see in the book is a message from the bird kingdom. You are moving on the wings of light to a new harmonic. We know about sound and we know about flight. We can lift you up and help you to fly. These bird cards are given to you all to connect with us so that we can begin our task of moving you to this lighter expression of yourselves. We do things joyously, so this will be joyous too. Each of you is beautiful beyond your present very limited conception of yourselves. We see the beauty in you. We know you have come far. We know where you have come from, and we know where you are going. Come with us. Don't ever get bogged down in fear and apprehension about this process of becoming a lighter version of yourself. Just ask us to be there and we will. We know that it is a difficult challenge to be in a physical body. We can lift you up until you remember who you are. So this is kind of just a little introduction written from the perspective of the birds. The contents here are messages, or the message that we just read, the introduction, part 1, which is the card and their meanings, and part 2, how to use the cards. So this deck, like I said, is more about if getting guidance, finding yourself and finding your inner knowledge through the bird energies kind of thing. And each card also comes with an affirmation. And then there's also some big spreads here in the back with some information about how to use the cards. The second deck, on the other hand, has a little bit of an explanation about what the difference is between these two decks. So I will read that quickly for you before we begin. So here we have a text from the creator about this second set, and it says here, the first set of birds were mostly familiar names, the dove or the gull or the ravening thrush. The second set birds will mostly be unfamiliar unless one has had a lot of interest in birds of the world. This second set of bird cards is celebrating the beauty of the bird kingdom and taking examples from bird families all over the world, many of which I too had never heard of when I began. The second set of bird cards was really written to satisfy both myself and many other people who wanted to know all the other birds, what all the other birds meant as well. While I was preparing the first set of bird cards for publication, I had no idea there was going to be a second set. I had sent the completed manuscript off to the publisher thinking, well, that's the end of that particular journey of receiving messages from the bird kingdom, and I felt quite sad. We have given this set the title Ascension to Paradise, the transcendent power of the bird kingdom. We had to differentiate it from the first set and give it a title that allows it to stand on its own, but it is in fact a continuation of the first set, and the numbers reflect that by beginning with the Bee Eater card as number 56. The first set had 55 birds and the second set has 66 birds. Right, making a total of 121 bird cards. They were written in exactly the same way as I described in the introduction to the first set, with the information coming from a deep place inside myself, information which I did not know consciously until I started to write each one. And then she continues to say, I have included a short description of each bird in this second set to help give a better picture of where the bird is found and some of its characteristics. As with the first set, the second set birds are offered as allies, as helpful energies that can move us along on our spiritual path with more lightness and buoyancy than might otherwise be the case. They are there to remind us of our divinity and to guide us home. This is Ascension to Paradise. And then she goes on to say, Ascension to Paradise is what the bird energy is offering at this time. To quote from the last card in the pack, the Bird of Paradise card, you can be in paradise right now in the physical world. It is a state of consciousness. There are 2 prerequisites for entry into paradise. Set everyone free, including yourself. This is unconditional love. Go beyond the ego and claim your divinity. This is wisdom. The ascension process that we are all engaged in on this beautiful planet at the moment is about lifting our consciousness to a higher frequency of expression. And the birds, as soul messengers, are helping us to connect with our own souls so that we can do that. Paradise is not a place somewhere up in the clouds. It is a state of being within yourself. Ascension is about lifting yourself up to a higher level of expression by making the choice which honor yourself. And to do this, you have to learn to know yourself. You are totally unique. You are a totally unique expression of divinity. There is no other exactly like you. Your task is to discover that unique form of self-expression you alone can offer to life and to live it. So as Jane here writes, the first deck has a bit more familiar birds, but I did find quite a few familiar birds in this deck as well that are very common to where I live. So obviously, depending on where you live, some birds are going to be some birds that are exotic to me are not going to be exotic to somebody else, and vice versa. However, there are birds in this one that I have never heard of, which I also find exciting. The reason why I've started on the blue deck, though, is, well, it's the first deck, and also because I recognize most of the birds in the deck. But like, there is still like a difference in energy between these decks, and I will show these to you as we go through the decks in themselves. All right, let's finally get into the cards. So this here is the first bird cards deck. I'll zoom in so that you can see the cards properly because they are so beautiful. Right, let's do a quick flip through without me talking too much, because otherwise this video is just going to be way too long. So first we have the pigeon sitting here in a tray of incense, which is really interesting. Swallow. I love this kind of rainbow ribbon going through here, really creating depth in this image. The robin holding a diamond heart. Such a beautiful card. I really love this deck. I can't explain really how much I love it. Here we've got the hawk, and I believe these are rubies. Dove. Oh, this image is so pretty. Sparrow. I have a very specific relationship with the sparrow. I talk to them almost every day on my way to work and home. They get so close here in the city because they're so used to people. Yeah. Parrot. Thrush. One thing about this deck as well is that it's got rainbows and prisms and crystals and stuff included in most of the cards. Blackbird. I love this card. Crow. Peacock. It looks like it's standing on a piece of malachite. Swan. Eagle. Looks like it's flying with the sun in its claws. Golden orb. The owl. Such a beautiful picture. Here, I would like to see a differentiate. There's so many different owls. I would have liked to see the actual specific name of the owl, but I'm alright with just owl as well. Stork. This is one of the cards I've been working with lately. Lark. Nightingale. Ibis. Finch. Canary. Flamingo. Pelican. Kingfisher. Seagull. We have loads of these. Heron. Duck. Oh. Penguin. Plover. I've heard two different ways of pronouncing that. Goose. Oh wow, look at that. Kind of ascension going on in the background there. Cormorant. Crane. Hummingbird. Sunbird. Vulture. Pheasant. Turkey. Lovebird. Phoenix. Cuckoo. Warbler. Roller. This is another one that's been very important for me lately. Oriole. Weaver. Partridge. Wagtail. This one, I've worked with this one as well. The three cards I've pointed out to you have been part of a big reading for me, and they've been sitting out on my altar for the past few weeks. Raven. I love this one. How it's kind of lifting up the cloak of night there. Gannet. Shrike. wren, ostrich, nightjar. These birds are so cool. If you've ever heard one, they're so creepy sounding, but they're so cool. Woodpecker, rooster, dodo, and bluebird of happiness. All right, so that was the first deck. Let's just jump straight to the second deck, and then we can discuss some more. So the birds in this deck, some of them are going to be a little bit more unknown. I would have said that maybe 80% of the birds in this one are quite common to me, whereas I've heard of most of them. Yeah, about 20% are what I would call exotic, or like, for example, the phoenix bird is, you know, mythical, and the dodo is extinct. So this one has well-known birds, but some are very exotic, like flamingos are exotic to me. So this one here has exotic and slightly unknown birds, but also birds that are very common for me. So let's crack on. The bee eater, African fish eagle. So this one is a little bit more specific as well, because we had an eagle in this one as well, but this one now is an African fish eagle. Lyrebird. How cool is that? Those tail feathers. Wow. Flycatcher. Barbet. Mousebird. Honey guide. Osprey. Jay. We've got these here, very common here, or at least I'm familiar with them. Moorhen. Bustard. Seed eater. Snipe. We've got these as well, I believe. Drongo. Definitely sounds like a Australian bird. Bowerbird. Never heard of some of these. Antbird. A lot of names completely just based on what they eat, it seems like. Bulbul. Kiwi. These are so cool. Babbler. Cassowary. Brolga, Hornbill, Turaco, Mina or Mina, Kite, Trogon, Falcon, Puffin. I love how he's kind of like eating the rainbow here. It looks like kelp almost in his beak. Magpie. So the magpie I kind of missed from the blue deck. I feel like the magpie belongs with the familiar birds for some reason. But anyway, linnet, kookaburra, white eye, such a pretty bird. Look at that. Bittern, tit. This one I also missed from the blue deck. I see these are, you know, quite common around here. Would have really liked to have this one in the more common birds as well. Secretary bird, nuthatch. Same with this one. I do believe we have quite a few of these here around where I live. Tanager, toucan, hoatzin, jacamar, honey eater. Very cool beak there. Mockingbird, loon. These are also quite common here. Has a very interesting call as well. Cotinga, chat, skua, I believe. Look at that. Such a beautiful picture. Tern, these are also very common here. Usually by the seaside, very aggressive around their young. Is known to have pecked a few people in the head if they get too close to their nest. Yeah. Frogmouth. This is a cool bird. Swift. We also have these. A lot of them. Storm petrel. That's so cool. I just really love Joyce's artwork. It's, I don't know, it just makes me feel something looking at these pictures. Bobolink. Frigate bird. I'm sure I've seen one of these in David Attenborough documentary. Elephant bird. Mannequin. Bluebird. So pretty. Broadbill. Spoonbill. Oh, look at the reflection in the water. It's like a heart. Hammerkop. Not sure how to pronounce that one. Cockatoo. Such expressive birds, the cockatoo. So many videos online of how they learn how to sing and talk and dance. A buzzard. Saw quite a few of these last summer in England. Ovenbird. Interesting name. A pitter. Tropic bird. Fairy bluebird. Hoopoe. I think you say it like that. And bird of paradise. Now I thought we would pull a couple of cards from each deck so that we can read what the guidebook says and just explore the deck a little bit more. So like I said, this blue deck I usually riffle shuffle on the side like this because they are quite big, these cards. And I do really feel like some of the birds that I pointed out in the second deck, I kind of want them to be part of the blue deck, so that I can just work with the blue deck. The blue deck has been very, very important to me this past few weeks. Also because it pairs, or these two decks probably both pair really, really well with my newest tarot love, the Hanson Roberts tarot, and I will show you some of those together later in this video. All right, once more, and then we will pull a card. Feeling that one. The Raven, perfect. That's such a popular bird. All right, let's read about the Raven for you guys. So we'll start from the first book. So the Raven write-up is here that you can pause and read it if you want to read it yourself instead of listening to me. Number 46, Raven. Ravens speak to us of change and transmutation. This can sometimes mean a death, but as with the owl, this death does not necessarily mean a physical parting, but rather the end of one kind of life and the beginning of another. Ravens are not messengers of anything sinister. They are powerful transmitters of God's word. That's another thing I forgot to say about this deck. It does speak about God a lot, but I do believe that Jane and Joyce, in their writings, they refer to just insert God or any other, what you're comfortable with in space of God. In my opinion, it's not the Christian God that they are talking about, but just the all-round divine energy, I suppose, of... I'm not even sure what I believe myself, but when you hear the word God, at least that's what I do. I just think of spirit, or the unknown, or the divine, or whatever you feel comfortable with. So, if the raven resonates with you as a symbol, then perhaps you are also an instrument for God's word. Perhaps you too are able to transmit the message of love described below. In a reading, if you have drawn the raven card now, either in answer to a question or as a daily reading, God is transmitting a powerful message to you. The essence of the message is this: Beloved, I greet you as my child. I want you to see me now. I therefore draw the veils aside so that you may break through the illusion of separation and see my face. I am love. I am coming. The affirmation is: I ask the overlighting consciousness of the raven to show me God's purpose for me. So all of the affirmations start with that phrase: I call upon the overlighting consciousness of, and then the bird. And if that sounds a little bit too much for you, I usually just kind of skip that, and I just think I ask the raven to show me, for example, because I'm obviously not asking a specific raven. It is about working with the energy of the raven, or the archetype of the raven. And in this case, I mean, this didn't give me much, so then I go to the other book and see what it says there. Here in the Bird Card Contemplations book. And here we have a spread and a raven meditation, and then again the same affirmation on this card. So the raven spread is: choose a card for where you are now. Choose 2 birds to help you with the process of change that is underway. Choose a bird that will help you break through the illusion of separation. Choose a bird that will help you to show you God's purpose for you, and then choose a blessing card. So in this case here, it's only talking about choosing more cards from the same deck, but what I've been doing is to choose tarot cards, or draw tarot cards instead. So in this case, I would draw 2 cards, asking the cards to help me through the process that of change that is coming, and then I will also possibly either choose a tarot card or draw another bird that will help me break through the illusion of separation. I just go with what makes most sense at the moment. So for example, in the reading I did with the roller, I had the roller card. There it is. So for example, for the spread I did with the roller, I chose a card for where you are now, or drew a card from the tarot. And then I drew 2 more tarot cards to show where I am a beacon to others. Then I chose a bird to work with the roller to remind you of who you really are. And then I also chose a bird whose message holds deep meaning for you. So in this case, it actually says choose a card and choose 2 cards. And then it says choose a bird and choose a bird. So what I did there was I drew 3 cards from the tarot. then 2 birds, and then a blessing card I chose from the tarot. It could have been another oracle as well, and that created a really cool spread for me, and yeah, had a really big impact. But back to the raven. The raven spread, I just went through that with you. So yeah, 1 card for where you are now, 2 birds to help you with the process of change that is underway, a bird that will help you break through the illusion of separation, a bird that will help you show you God's purpose for you, and a blessing card. And then the raven meditation is as follows. Say the affirmation for the raven. What color do you associate divine love with? Settle into stillness by watching your breath for a while, until you can step into this color and let yourself and everything around you be suffused with it. Now, imagine that you are kneeling at the edge of a still, glassy lake. The lake reflects the color that is all around you. See the reflection of this color in the water. Now you are going to see the coming into focus in the water, the face of divine love. How does this appear to you? Have a conversation. Ask what is God's purpose for you. Allow the meditation to unfold. When you come out of this experience, remember to thank the overlighting consciousness of the raven for its assistance. So for some people, this might be a little bit too much God talk. But like I said, I have just learned to replace the word God if it makes me feel uncomfortable, and go with energy, for example, instead. Right, so this was the first deck, the blue deck as I call it, which is the bird cards. And if I remember correctly, the Ascension to Paradise does not have the meditations in them, or the spreads. But let's pull a card and have a look, shall we? So this second deck has a little bit of a bow to it. I don't know if the camera is going to pick up on this, but it's a little bit yeah, bowed. And I think I just had a flash. I believe there might be a thunderstorm coming. Yeah. Oh, I hope, can you hear that? There was some thunder there. Right, let's pull a card. See how easily this one overhand shuffles. This one overhands really well, whereas this one just kind of clumps and it doesn't flow very well. So yeah, that's a big difference between these two. I have been considering trimming them just to make them a little bit smaller, but yeah, I haven't made a decision yet. All right, let's pull a card. The Bulbul. All right. Number 72. And you can also see, I didn't actually compare the fronts, but you can also tell, you can see the difference in the design of the card, where the title comes, and also the number, which also would annoy me if I were to combine the decks. I would want them to have the title the same way, but that's probably just the way I function. All right, number 72. Right, here's the Bulbul. So we have a full page of the card, and then the affirmation, which also comes with this deck, and then we have the write-up. So I will hold this still for a moment so you can pause and read if you prefer, and then I will read. The Bulbul is a gregarious small bird, often crested, which is a familiar sight in many parts of the world. The Bulbul offers its energy to us to bring us back to harmony with ourselves after a shock. The light, inquisitive, merry energy that the overlightning consciousness of the bulbul carries is just what is needed here. Often a shocking event in one's life brings a great deal of disruption to one's daily routine. Everything feels turned upside down, and there can also be a sense of disconnection from normality. Bulbul energy is the energy to call upon once everything has calmed down, to reconnect with normality and feel relaxed about life again. Shock is something that needs to be taken seriously and treated accordingly. There are many excellent natural homeopathic or flower essence remedies for shock, which you can be advised upon. If you have had a bad shock, whether emotional or physical, your subtle bodies and solar plexus chakra will have been badly jarred and will need gentle help to harmonize again. Don't neglect this, because otherwise the shock becomes permanently lodged in your cellular memory, and depending on its severity can affect your physical structure or cause depression. If you have chosen the bulbul card today, life is asking you to come down to earth. If practically possible, do normal fun things. Visit friends and family, go out for a meal or a walk, re-establish your daily routine and do something to unwind, like exercise, body work of some kind, or an aromatherapy bath or massage. Dose yourself liberally with natural anti-shock remedies, and also invite in the overlighting consciousness of the bulbul to help you to feel the order in your life again. Give yourself time and gradually you will return to yourself. Shock can also be life's way of jarring you out of a rut so that you consciously choose your next step rather than just let life run down in you. Once the light-hearted energy of the bulbul has helped you to feel connected with life again, perhaps this will be a good moment to look and see if this is really where you want to be in your life. As you come back to your life, choose it. So the differences between these two write-ups are very big in my opinion. The bird cards have like more of a succinct and divided into sections. This one has a large write-up with a little bit of information about the bird as well, and it's missing, like I said, the spreads. If I were to have a wish fulfilled, it would be that these two ways of writing would be combined. I'm missing this way of writing in this guidebook, but I'm also missing the card spreads or the readings from this guidebook. So if these two could be combined, it would have been perfection. I forgot to read the affirmation of the bulbul. So I ask the overlighting consciousness of the bulbul to help me to harmonize my life again, to show me to turn this shock into an adventure. So it feels like these two decks definitely have different energies, and I'm sure I will be using both of them at some point. At the moment, I mean, I do prefer the way of the writing in the Ascension of Paradise to a degree, but I am enjoying like I said, the spreads so much and the meditations in this bird card, the first one, and also all of these write-ups are a little bit different. So we have here first like this little write-up here, then more of as if you've encountered a blackbird, or if you're feeling really like that you're resonating really much with a certain bird, then this section is what's important. And then this is the like interpretation in a reading part. So yeah, I do really love both of these decks and guidebooks. Now to the cards that I've been using with this deck, and oh, I am just so happy about these, because if you've seen one of my latest videos, you will know that I have fallen head over heels in love with the Hanson Roberts Tarot, and I'm just so in love with this combination, and you'll see why when I put them next to each other. They are just so insanely pretty together. Let me put this in the middle. Right. And I mean, I do believe it's partly, it's mostly because of them both being made with pencils, colored pencils. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you this magic that happens between these two decks. I can't. I love it so much. I know that some of you, or maybe even most of you, will dislike this deck because it doesn't have any keywords. I absolutely understand that, but obviously it would be nice to have keywords. However, the way I use this deck, I just haven't missed the keywords at all, to be honest. Because I just use the deck in a very specific way. The other bird card, bird oracle that I have is the Bird Oracle 2, and I have expressed I've expressed my sadness that the Birds Oracle deck 2, or the Birds Oracle deck 1 isn't available anymore, which made me really upset, because I wanted the pair. Oops. Oh, so good. But yeah, the Birds Oracle cards 1 will probably never be reprinted, or at least not according to the creator. So when I found the bird cards, I was just so happy because I just wanted more, and I felt like the bird cards 1, or the Birds Oracle cards 1 that I really wanted, had some really important birds to me, that I really wanted to have as an oracle. But yeah, I just can't get over how much I love these two decks together. Oh. Anyway, I am completely obsessed with the Hanson Roberts lately, and I'm also really obsessed with the bird cards. So this is the only two decks that I've been using for like a month, except for the Thoth tarot. But yeah, I have now taken up a long time here in this video, so I'm going to end the video here, I believe. There's not much else that I can say at this point in time. I will probably show you and talk with you about these decks more in the future, because honestly, at the moment, it's the only ones that I want to use, which might get boring for you in the long run. I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't know. I have a few ideas about what I want to do. I actually had an idea yesterday, thanks to one of my viewers reaching out and talking to me, and we have been talking, messaging back and forth, and She's been telling me really lovely things about how my videos have helped her. Thank you so much. You know who you are. And I just, she gave me some ideas, or by messaging with her, I got some ideas for some future videos, possibly talking about how I use tarot to view myself with more kindness, which is something I've been doing quite unconsciously, I think, with tarot. But she pointed out to me that it's been helping her a lot. So if that's something you're interested in hearing about more, just leave me a comment down below. All right, let me know what you think about the bird cards and the Ascension to Paradise deck. I'm sorry if this is possibly a deck that might be, or these two might possibly decks that are difficult to get a hold of. I do not know the situation with the stock at all. I do not know if they are printing more decks or not. I do, however, know for all of you people who speak Dutch, that Joyce van Dobben has both the Ascension to Paradise and the bird cards in Dutch versions for sale, and you can reach out to her to buy the Dutch versions. If you want them in English, though, you would probably have to do what I did and buy the bird cards, the blue one from Jane Toerien from South Africa, and the Ascension to Paradise from Joyce in the Netherlands. I will put any and all information I have about this down below if you want to check that out. So thank you so much for watching, and please take care of yourselves. I'm going to go and have a little look at the thunderstorm outside now. I love sitting on the balcony while there's a thunderstorm. So anyway, take care and be well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.